This is like the moment I realized this is what I wanted to do. I was like sitting at home working on the first one. He sent me a script. I had this like easy program to like make whiteboard animation. And I was just like at home on my couch editing. And I was just like, wow, he's paying me to do this.
Oh, really?
This is crazy.
Wow.
And I just realized I loved it. And I just went from there.
SLEWNIVERSE, episode 21. We have Jonathan Deutsch on the podcast today, aka 24 Frames of Ginger. He's an amazing stop motion animator, filmmaker, and content creator. You know, he specifically does pixelation, which is stop motion in the real world using real people. Through his style, he's amassed a massive platform on TikTok, making probably some of the most magical stop motion animation videos you've seen on social media. I'm sure you've seen it. You know, he's one of the most talented people I've ever met, able to turn on his extremely surgical and like free-flowing creativity on a dime. We did a stop motion video in the studio, an amazing video. Maybe you've already seen it. And it was just such a blast. This is a great episode on the podcast. And there's also a behind the scenes vlog of the video we did in the studio together. It's really interesting how it's all filmed. So please enjoy. Okay, so let's begin.
All right.
So episode 21, really exciting. I'm so excited because like we were just saying, we had a wonderful time together collaborating.
We did.
So the people listening and watching, me and Jonathan Deutsch here, aka 24 Frames of Ginger, we already had a wonderful night making an awesome video. So this is sort of the post-op. Did you have fun the other night?
I did.
Yeah,
I really did.
Yeah, and I had the best time, and it's super interesting. And there's gonna be a vlog tomorrow, so maybe even before that we flash our collab so people can know what we did and get familiar with your work and like what you're about.
Instead of me trying to explain like what I do, just see a 15-second video, you'll understand. And it'll all be in context, and we'll take it from there.
Mesmerizing. But that was super fun. So hopefully that will be out. When I go to a museum, like the first thing I think of is obviously, wow, this is amazing painting, but like, how did this person paint it? Like, what was their techniques?
Right,
like,
true.
how are they holding the paintbrush? How did they mix their paint? Sort of that more like engineering, technical viewpoint. So especially when I see your extremely surgical, beautiful, stylized videos of animation. And again, this is pixelation, right?
Pixelation. It's a type of stop motion.
Yes. Okay.
Animation.
So we have, because again, I think that's something interesting that,
I'll do like a quick rundown.
Please. I love it.
So there's a few types of animation in general. There's like 3D animation, which is like Pixar. There's stop motion in general, which is, well, we'll get to stop motion last because it's a little complicated. There's classical animation in general, which is like the old Disney movies that are hand drawn. 3D again is like computer made. And then there's like cutout animation, which is the early South Park stuff. So it's like it is stop motion actually. So stop motion, wow, I'm not good at this. But
no, but like
let's lay it all out again. Yeah. Start over. 3D animation made on a computer like Pixar. 2D animation is like the early Disney stuff. And then stop motion, just to go deeper into that, is when you take pictures and then put them together to make a video. So instead of doing it on the computer or drawing, you're taking pictures with a camera. And there's a few ways to do that. You could do that with cutout, which is like the early South Park stuff. You could do that with clay, which is like Chicken Run or the Aardman Studio stuff. Like Leica kind of does, I think Leica does 3D printed stuff. So that's another
And the guy in
type
the
of stop
moon
motion.
and the dog, what's the...
Yeah, that's Wallace and Gromit. So that's claymation. That's with clay. And then what I do is pixelation. It's another type of stop motion where I'm taking pictures of the real world. The real world is my set. So instead of making a miniature set, I'm just using ready-made. It's like ready-made art, but for stop motion.
Yes. And I know there's other people who do that, but you're probably one of the most recognizable people on like social media. I think who would be a comparable person? Like Zach King. He's more of like but that's more
he does more
VFX.
And he does a lot of practical effects too.
That's what I mean.
And really cool VFX stuff. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I went into this, because like I think you have to kind of find an edge, something unique to you. I do enjoy this. Like this was something that came to me naturally but also like I saw that no one else was really doing this. There were a couple people doing it, but I saw opportunity.
Or maybe not to the level or, you know, ability of professionalism that you can.
Yeah, I don't know. It comes very natural to me. I love this. So,
right.
Yeah.
And what I think, to just piggyback on that I think, and I'm wondering if you think this is true, because you do this sort of POV style of your hands, and then it's also like very mundane, normal, everyday things, right? Like making some toast or doing the laundry.
Yeah, well, that's just my storytelling style.
But you think that like opens up the door to more relatable content for like TikTok?
I think so. Oh yeah, I think
for sure.
I'm trying to find the most simple, relatable things. Like we wanted to do a video about painting, so I'm like there's so many different cool things in your studio, but I just wanted to do something simple. Like let's just do a video about me painting. I like to keep it easy to understand. My philosophy about it is I don't want the audience to question for a millisecond what they're looking at. I want them to understand the story. The audience is always very smart and usually smarter than filmmakers think they are. And people can grasp things very quickly. And I just like to keep it simple and trust the audience, but also I like to like make sure that they understand what's going on. Yeah.
I think you're totally right. And it's so true. And if you were just making some crazy composition of like, I don't know, something way more complex than it needs to be, that would still probably be cool in the stop motion style.
Just not my style. A lot of people do that.
Right.
For me, I like doing simple. I like making food.
But there's something about really that that's just so like, you just like the one with the bread stacking up. It's just, you could watch it a million times.
Thanks.
And you're just like, I wish that's how I made sandwiches, right? There's something simple and quaint about it.
Yeah. I think it's like turning the mundane into the magical.
Yeah.
Like,
trademark.
Yeah, it's what I'm working on it.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm thinking about like a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
okay, I have a question about that stuff later, but can we run it back some more?
Talk about how I get started. And
and like I know, first of all, Ruben introduced us.
Yeah, shout out to Ruben Gladstone.
Yes, who is my homie. He helped me with my merch. We went to art school together. I'm trying to get on the podcast eventually.
Cool.
But he wonderfully introduced us, which is nice. And you, born in Florida, just like Ruben, you grew up, then moved to Israel when you were 14.
Yes,
went to school there. I'm trying to run it down quickly. I mean, I guess you can say it. But what I read is that you wanted to actually be a rabbi for a while.
Yeah.
And so can we talk about that and then how that transitioned to what you do now?
So I moved to Israel when I was 14. And then I was in Israel up until 2 years ago. And during that time, just like I went through a lot of different changes in my life, as many people do, from their teens to their early 20s to their late 20s. And in my late teens, early 20s, I got into just like spirituality, and I'm Jewish, so started looking into like Judaism and all that. And I really connected with it at that time in my life. I still connect with it, but it's just in a different way. And I went to, it's called yeshiva. It's just like where you learn Judaism and Torah, Bible, all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to be in education, just like, because I had a lot of weird teachers I didn't like throughout my life, but I also had like a small handful of people that really inspired me, and I wanted to be one of those people.
That's really nice.
And I was really lucky to meet some really cool rabbis and cool people at that time in my life, and I was just inspired to like try that out. I quit after like 5 months of learning to be a rabbi, but before that, I met this one rabbi, Rabbi David Aaron, and I made animations for him. That's where I got started in animation.
Why? What was the purpose of these animations? Because that seems like different from like the spiritual education and religion aspect.
Okay, so it sounds like it's all over the place, but it's kind of, I don't think it is. I thought I wanted to go to business school before I thought I wanted to be a rabbi. I thought like, okay, I'm really like passionate about just like creating things and maybe like doing like cool education programs, maybe like something to do with Judaism or something like that. But I thought like I would do that all on the side because I don't really think there's a lot of money there. I don't know if I can make a living there, and I'll be a businessman. It's like a classic move. So I tried to go into, I did like a quick undergrad degree where I could just do it at my own pace, and I just did it really fast, like in a year and 10 months. And I thought I'd go do a grad school business program. Ended up like kind of realizing that, well, I failed the test to get in. Like it was just like not a good enough grade to even apply, so didn't even try. And then I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life, so I got in contact with this rabbi who had been just like a mentor of mine basically for a couple years. And I was like, listen, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I'm very inspired by what you do. And I would just like to be a part of that while I'm figuring my shit out.
Almost like a shadowing, like,
let
me
and,
hop on
and he's
board.
like, cool, yeah, you could be my assistant. And I just like rode around town on my bike and just like brought his books to bookstores to restock them. He was like an author as well.
Oh, cool.
And I like helped set up like speaking gigs for him. It was like assistant type stuff.
Yeah.
But then I'm just naturally a creative person, I think, and I like have a lot of ideas, and he's a good storyteller. And I was like, you should turn your stories into animations. I had seen a bunch of stuff on YouTube with like whiteboard animation and all that kind of stuff.
And these were the original drawing ones that you started doing?
It wasn't even really drawn. It was just a program online.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what it was called. Really easy to use. So like I went to the art, he sent me to the art school to find an animator. I didn't think I was going to do it. I never thought I would do it. He sent me to the art school to find an animator. The art school I ended up going to, actually.
Amazing.
Like, I had no thoughts that I would do art. He brought me to the art school. Bezalel, yeah.
Bezalel, sorry.
He brought me to the art school. I asked around. It was too expensive for him, or he didn't like the art style because kids were sending him in their portfolio like naked people, and he's just like a rabbi. He wasn't into that. And then I was like, okay, how hard can this be? I'll try it. Yeah. And then, we did our first one, and this is like the moment I realized this is what I wanted to do. I was like sitting at home working on the first one. He sent me a script. I had this like easy program to like make whiteboard animation. And I was just like at home on my couch editing, and I was just like, wow, he's paying me to do this. Oh, really? This is crazy. It was just like a natural thought.
Eureka kind of moment.
Totally.
Wow.
And I just realized I loved it, and I just went from there. Yeah.
And so right after you applied to school, because you went
like 5 months later.
You had to go into the army, the IDF.
I was in the army before this.
Okay, so this is all before you even wanted to be a rabbi.
Yes.
Okay, because I think that's really interesting. I've met a lot of people. Ruben, obviously, also Ken Goshen, who was on the podcast. And I think that's such like a unique experience that like us normal Americans don't have. Like being forced to go. It was 2 years, right, or 18 months.
Yeah, something like a little less. I volunteered, so I wasn't a citizen when I went in the army, so I.
You didn't have to go if you didn't want to. Yeah. You volunteered. Okay, even more awesome. So I know this doesn't have to do much with animation, but maybe long term it affects you. Was that experience like very transformative or like change your perspective?
Yeah,
because I think I'm assuming it usually is for people.
Yeah, everyone's life experiences change their perspective,
right? But that's a more unique, like, again, not to obviously put words in your mouth or your experience, but it seems like something that maybe would affect your work ethic or affect your sort of like
probably
discipline.
Probably did.
And I think that's like very beneficial in my mind. And I'm not jealous or not jealous. It's just something that I always think of, because I've met another one of my friends. He didn't even live in Israel, but his family was, and he volunteered, and he did like 2.5 years, and it was like really amazing for him. Kind of didn't change his life, but learned and grew. So I always find that awesome.
Yeah. I don't think of it as like a time in my life.
Right.
It was also so long ago. It was like 10 years ago right now.
Right.
But it definitely, like when you said the word, like, what did you say? That it's like discipline and all that?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it
work ethic, something like that.
It must have, because like you're just like, they're so strict, and you're like every minute you're doing something. You also learn to do things really quickly.
Okay.
Like you have like a minute to get dressed, or like 2 minutes to take apart a gun and start cleaning it. Like, so I feel like that's maybe why I'm just like doing things quickly and typing. Right. I don't know.
No, I thought I'd ask, because again, it's like I feel like a unique experience. But
yeah, it was.
Awesome.
It was very meaningful.
Yeah. So now that you graduated, and I think again, what I was really kind of questioning, because like we talked about the other night, that you want to maybe do TV or more legit stuff because you have this great degree from animation. Like posting on TikTok, was your whole experience with TikTok just a supplement of the pandemic? Like, was it ever your intention to be like, hey, I'm going to blow up on this new social platform and build a career out of it?
It doesn't really seem possible. Well, you're a YouTuber, right? So, and you're on Instagram and TikTok too. So, when you start posting, like, you don't think, you're like, in the back of your head, you're like, I dream that this will be possible.
Right, the pipe dream.
Yeah.
But your growth, I mean, it's just insane. And like, you became one of the biggest creators. And was it just for fun? Like you were just posting videos of you and your wife? You just graduated?
I was trying to make something happen. Well,
okay, so you
COVID.
were.
It was like I graduated in August 2020, and my first post is like October 2020.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, I need to get a job at some point in my life, right? Like, and I had spoken to some like people that I know in Hollywood, and I was trying to get advice from people in the industry, and people were saying to get a job with Amazon or one of the streaming services like Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, and just like work your way up. And as I was simultaneously trying to get a job in that space, I was just making my own little videos and posting them, because there was just like this little dream in the back of my head, like maybe I won't have to go work for one of these companies and I can actually like do my own thing.
That's what my main question was. So you had intention.
Yeah.
That's great.
It wasn't like I'm posting for fun on my free time. It was like I was working really hard to try to make something happen.
Yeah. Okay, that's amazing. Because sometimes I feel like people do that, but at this point,
I was like 30 when I started posting, so it's a little different. I feel like if I was younger, like it'd be different.
Do you remember your first couple videos that did really well?
Yeah, I remember my first one that got like 17,000 views, and it was just like, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
The first one you ever did, or was this like fifth?
It took me, so my first like 5 videos probably got like 100 or 200 views, and then like maybe they were getting like a few hundred here and there. Maybe I got something with like 1,000, but then there was one at a certain point that got 17,000, and that was in the style. I don't know how far you scrolled back, but my first video on my page now is where like I'm drawing on a piece of paper, and then the drawing turns into an animation.
Right? Yeah, it pops out.
Yeah. So
yeah.
like,
well, I scrolled all the way back. We could also pull it up, Chris, later. But like,
I did that style for like probably 5 videos, 6 videos.
Okay, that's what I was gonna
just like
wonder.
it was a mixture of classical animation and 3D animation, but just like my passion has always been stop motion. I just love doing things with my hands, and I just love it. Just comes very naturally to me as opposed to the other ones, even though I did major in 3D in school, but I just love stop motion. And I found this old video on my phone. It's like one of the most, in my second or third year of school, I was in a really intense project, and I just needed to like relax my brain and have a break and enjoy the animation again. So I went out to the park near my house, and I just like filmed a video where I was like zooming and grabbing things and using them and interacting with the world kind of in the style that I do now. It was like 2018. And I looked back on that one as I was starting on TikTok, and I just reposted it like, okay, another video to post. Let's see what happens. And that one did even better than the earlier one. And I thought about it, and I was just like, I think I should lean into this. Like, I enjoy this. I know that people want to see something that you enjoy and see what comes naturally to you. And also people were responding to it. And people were being very nice. They're like, I love this, but you have to get a new phone. Like I was using an iPhone SE.
Really?
Yeah, it was like really bad. And I didn't even have a tripod. So like I was holding it. Like last night when 2 nights ago when we were filming, like I had it on a tripod. The camera did not move. So like in those videos, the camera's like kind of shaking. I'm holding it and clicking and trying to put my hand there. And
I love that the mob wanted more. The mob wanted more and a better quality.
Yes. And I got a new phone, and I stuck to that style. Yeah.
And yeah, it's such an approachable style. And that's like why I think it's so fun. Because obviously I think what you do is like to the nth degree of like professional. Not anyone can do that. But the idea of stop motion, taking, an assortment of pictures and then putting them together, it's like pretty basic. Like anyone can really do it.
Yeah. It's the easiest type of animation to start if you don't know anything. If you've never done animation before.
Yeah. Like I have like just tremendously joyous memories of even being in lower school, and they like tried to make us do claymation, and I did this castle with these like golem creatures to Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Green Day, and I just remember it just being the most most pleasant experience. And I haven't really done it since. But also, I don't know, we had this kid, call him Delane Kid Super, who does cool claymation for like music videos, and it's just such a cool medium that I feel like is like not underused in the industry, whatever quote unquote that industry is, but like it really, I think, is pretty impactful, or like it's kind of like a visceral viewing experience. And especially yours, which is wonderful. Do you remember your first video that like went viral?
Yeah, the first one that was over 1 million views was this one in my brother and sister-in-law's house in Michigan. It's just like a loop around their apartment, and in every room I'm like interacting with something in the room. So the first room I'm like making a painting straight, and I'm putting a blanket over my wife. In the second room I'm setting the table, and the third room I'm setting the bed, and then it just goes full loop. And I posted it on Friday, and I celebrate the Shabbat. So like mean I don't use my phone Friday night to Saturday night. I turned on my phone Saturday night, and they had like 3 million views.
You're just like, it's a glitch?
Yeah, it was
that's
amazing.
That's a pretty great story.
Yeah. It's like little moments like that where you're like, okay, cool, this can really happen.
Holy shit.
And then there's obviously also the opposite type of feeling. So it's a roller coaster, but it's all good.
But
I mean, it.
Just that many eyeballs is like an insane thing. But so
it's the power of TikTok.
The power of TikTok, indeed. And so from that, like you're like, okay, this is feasible. Let me keep doing this. You love to do it. You're clearly good at it. And then when did, if you're comfortable talking with, the money come in? Because clearly, if people are familiar with your work, you've done some of like collaborations with the biggest brands on the planet, Skittles, McDonald's, right? Like countless others. So what was that? Okay, I just got 3 million views. I can now leverage this audience and style to make money. Not that that's your main intention, of course, but I'm assuming this is how your main source of money now.
It is, yeah. My model right now is that I post videos for fun on my own, just whatever I want, to try to like just grow my account and get my stuff out there and grow as an artist as well.
Of course.
And then brands see it. They usually like see the viral ones, and then that gets their attention, and then they contact me.
Yeah.
And so I make money from ads. That's how I
Yeah.
make money. But I try to just find companies that'll let me do whatever I want. But to answer your question, it started off with a brand contacted me. I don't know what video. Oh, I remember what they told me which video they saw. I asked them. They saw this one where I like go from the mountains to the beach, like a random video. It didn't even go viral. And yeah, I just zoomed around
That was
on
my
a hike.
favorite.
Then like at a certain point, I like transitioned to the beach, and I shot half of it in Colorado. I was in Florida.
Yeah.
Shot half of it in Florida. And then yeah, so a brand contacted me. I had turned down a bunch of brands before because a lot of brands are using young creators. They don't know how old I am, so I'm young to them. They're just using young creators. Like ad agencies will get a budget from a company for like $100,000, and they'll find some young creator and pay them $2,000 to make a video. And they're like, and it could be someone with a lot of followers. They're just young and don't know the business yet.
Yeah.
So I got contacted by a bunch of brands before this one, and I turned them down because I had, luckily the animation space on social media is really nice, and I could reach out to other people, and people have given me advice, and that's really cool.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have to make too many mistakes.
In terms of like your rates and like how to deliver and things like that.
Like, hey, this brand contacted me. They are offering me this much. And then the person was like, no way. They're just using you.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Really, really nice.
That's because I went through a bunch of that. And I think just like you said, a lot of kids are being super undervalued.
Yes.
I mean, you said like they prefer young people. I think that's true. But if they prefer views, like if they're getting millions of views and good content. I don't think that
their intent is to rip off young kids, but they're also, it's a business and they're trying to make as much as they can.
If 100,000 budget, they could get 5,000 people.
Why not?
For whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I was speaking to someone today who, like, not to get into specific numbers, but they were asking they had a viral video that got them like 1 million followers from like one video, basically.
Whoa.
Crazy. And they asked me for advice because they know that I've been on TikTok for a long time, and they thought that they were worth a lot less than they were.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy, but I don't think that this is the brand's intent. I think that
of course
it just
not.
happens to happen.
But it makes sense. Like totally when I negotiate, and I've talked about this a lot.
You have to know your worth.
But you're trying to argue for as much value, and they're trying to get something, to save
It's weird
as much
out there right now. It's like the Wild West. I feel like YouTube is more established, so there's probably more like standard rates for like based on a little bit.
But it's like versus conversions. Are you converting enough? A person with 1 million views can convert 1% versus.
So that's the good thing about TikTok. No one cares about conversions.
I know,
yet,
which is why you're lucky, and I'm jealous.
Yeah. Brands are like, so the big brands are just like, I feel like they do have goals. They want like their brand to seem cool.
I think that is the number one thing.
Yeah, they're not like looking for, hey, like how many of the products am I selling based on the video? It's just like, do we seem cool on TikTok? Are we being present?
Are we relevant?
Yeah.
Like, are we?
So that is the good thing about it. Which
penetrating the zeitgeist of this younger culture.
Yeah. Wait, but I feel like we stopped in the middle really quickly.
No, please, sorry.
Run down. I started in October 2020, and then I did my first ad in, I think, April of 2020. Sorry. Yeah, of 2021.
2020, spring.
So about like 6 months or so.
Wow.
Until I did my first one. And then after I did my first one, then it started happening more quickly. I think once people see that you can do an ad, that they're just kind of like, oh, like they get a feel for what ads look like in your style.
Sure. And through that 6 months, your platform probably only grew. You probably only got better. And what's your, like, we talked about it. It's like about one video a week. Has that been pretty consistent since the inception of like you taking it full-time job serious?
Yeah, good question. The beginning, the paper ones were one a day.
Oh,
just because they don't take so long.
Yeah.
Maybe one every 2 days, something like that. Also, there weren't sound effects. I was using sound like songs, and it was just like I would draw something and then I'd trace that and then animate it on the computer with like a tracing pad. So like 1 or 2 days, and then so there's been times where there's been one a week. There's been times when it's been sometimes. Now my videos will either take like on average like 5 days if I'm like working full time, like not sleeping and all that. But sometimes I'll do more and sometimes I'll do less. All depends.
It's so amazing. Like again, the amount of effort that goes into these 20-second videos.
But it's fun. I like shooting in cool locations. You saw me here. Like I love shooting in your studio. It's fun.
Of course, that was so fun, and I think it's really great because I know we're getting kind of down the rabbit hole, but there will hopefully be all this context in the vlog that I put out that should come out right after this, and I think it'll be maybe even interesting for you to see yourself in the
I'd love to
background. But and I did my best. We'll see what footage I could put together. But like, it's so funny. Like, do you ever desire like the bigger screen? Because I know you've done like short films or more longer form narrative animation. You did the goo.
Yeah.
Is it the slime also?
Lazy.
Lazy. Yeah, that was we love that one. But so like, because TikTok is, you could be professional, you could be amazing, like high production
those took
value.
me a year to make each.
That's what I'm saying.
Two movies in 2 years.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, do you ever long for this longer form, more traditional? I don't know if that's the right word, rather than this sort of quick pace social media, which is amazing.
Well, one of the reasons why I was like excited about doing short form content is because it took 2 days to make a video in the beginning, whereas like those ones took me a year. So it was nice to just like see a final project and then put it out there and get some reaction like really quickly. Yeah, the turnaround. I wouldn't want to spend a year on a 3-minute video again. I don't think
From
ever.
what you've been doing now.
Unless like I had like hardcore fans that would like watch it and enjoy, like, because you're taking such a risk.
Yeah.
Like I made that video. I spent a year on it. I put my heart into that. Like I didn't get into one film festival. No, the second one. Well, both of them. I put my heart into both of them. But this, like the second one was my thesis for school. Like I spent more time on
God
that
one.
The goo. Yeah.
The goo. Yeah.
Yeah. I spent like a year on it, put my heart into it, and I didn't get into one film festival, which is fine. Like it didn't deserve to get into them if it didn't get in. But that can happen. So I just like it's
and
cool.
That's a commitment.
Yeah.
But I think, because that's what I'm saying, like you went to a traditional animation school where I'm sure like that's like what they're not teaching these TikTok things. Like you kind of really did, leave the home carriage and go into this new world. Yeah. Found success, which is amazing. But like what you were taught is like this more traditional thing. And so you don't long for it? Because I thought last night you were saying, oh, I'm thinking about TV or the future.
TV's not a year for a 3-minute video.
But so what is the world of TV and animation? Like some South Park stuff, or being a storyboard artist, or
no, I want to do my own thing.
So like direct.
I would love.
Right.
What I'm passionate about is like creativity and storytelling, and like also just exciting visual stuff. Like a lot of these animation shows are writer-led animation shows. So like there aren't animators writing these shows. So it's just like you might as well film it. Like they're sitcoms.
I see.
I'm not going to name names, but a lot of these shows, like it's a family of 5 and they're sitting around in a room and they're not moving and their mouths are moving. Like that's great and it's very funny, but it's writer-led. Like I think they might as well get a video camera.
People rip on The Simpsons.
Yeah, right? Simpsons does it's
or
different.
Family Guy. Like it's just like really.
I love those shows, and I don't want to name names, but there are a lot out there. There's
other ones.
I don't know if I'd name those. Like just like to compare like Rick and Morty, let's say, to Family Guy. Like,
Rick and Morty is amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot more animation in Rick and Morty than there is in Family Guy.
Amazing. Yeah. Part of the reason I love it, I love Rick and Morty.
Yeah, and they spend more time like SpongeBob. There's a lot of animation in SpongeBob, but a lot of these shows these days, they're writer-led instead of animator-led.
That's so interesting. That makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, that's how I understand it.
So you want to be in a position.
I would love to be in a show that like does cool visual stuff and is fun storytelling and just like that's the idea I'm working on now. Just like mundane to magic, like a guy where like the whole episode is he goes to like get a new toothbrush or something, but along the way like there's just fun magic stuff happening.
That's awesome.
Like in the traffic. Like there's traffic on the way to the store and he like moves all the cars and like erases the red light and turns it into a green light. And like at the store, he's like trying to ask what aisle the toothbrushes are in, but there's someone talking to another person and he's just like waiting there. So he like flicks the person that works there is talking to. He grabs the person that works there, like brings them over and like does brain surgery on him to look inside his brain and see what aisle he's in. I have a bunch of ideas like that just for like mundane
it seems like you
things.
thought about that a lot.
Like
but your brain gotta be just hardwired for that stuff now.
I love that. Yeah, because I've been doing it for so long, it just comes more naturally.
I mean, again, it was just fascinating to watch you work in the studio late night. Like, for how pretty complex that video is, I don't know in your repertoire videos like where that ranks, but you were talking to yourself. You were just like, Jimmy Neutron brain blasting, and you're like, go here. We're gonna do it this way. Okay, wait, I forgot to do this. Yeah. Right?
It's a very vulnerable, intimate space.
But like,
for
I
me.
can relate to that because I'm kind of, it's almost like master of multitasking. You have to think about it. You have to set it up. You have to make sure it works. You have to double check everything. Yeah. And so I can really relate to that. But to see it firsthand, it's like incredible.
I was trying to like let loose and not worry about what you're going to think of me. But I was just trying to like make sure the video was going to end up
I know.
good.
And you were saying that a lot, but you're in good company because I was just loving every second of it.
And you were a trooper. You were in the video and you sat there straight for a long
how long
time.
did you came here at 7, left at 12:30?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, we got here at 6. or 6:30.
Yeah, something like that.
I left at 12:30.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a long time.
And it was amazing. But also it was, it was weirdly simpler than I thought. I mean, the complexity and the surgicalness of hitting the beats, but like your app on the phone, I thought was like, I was like, oh wow, this is it. Like,
yeah.
And it's a lot. I mean, I think another thing, I don't know how much people know, but like how much post you do and how like, yeah, you're a good director and these creative stories, these, quintessential little situations of mundane life, but the actual post-production of using After Effects, keyframing things out, like, was that, I mean, you probably learned that in film school, but did your skills only increase after, trying to be more ambitious with your TikTok videos? Like, is that just a normal evolution?
I kind of found a workflow that works for me. Like for that video where I'm in my brother and sister-in-law's apartment, there was barely any post in that video.
Okay, so like when you're going like this, pinch zooming, this is just being good with the tripod.
Moving the tripod, opening it up, going back and forth, making sure it's the right way.
So your hand's not faking that?
Not at all, no.
Because those are the craziest ones for me. Also, like, how do you film it at this dentist office?
Oh, my wife's dad is a dentist.
Okay, I assumed it was something in the family because I was like, whoa, this is like pretty good access.
Yeah, I filmed 2 videos in his office. Yeah, he gives me the key. I go there at night.
You drop the coat on the doctor. I'm like, where do you get a doctor?
That's my father-in-law.
Yeah, okay,
He's
cool.
great.
Yeah, it's amazing. And those were like, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, I just love shooting in different locations. I end up having to film a lot of them just in my apartment. But when I can get access to a cool location, I will do that. Like right now I'm doing something for the Patriots and I filmed half of it in my house and I'm going to film half of it in their stadium.
Wow.
It's not going to be out till like August. Okay. So in a while, but cause like I filmed half of it now and we ended up pushing it off till August, but I'm going to get there. And I love that. Like I want to shoot in cool places. Like I love shooting here.
Totally.
But it's also fun to have that challenge of like, okay, I only have my house. I've already shot 50 videos here. Like what can I do now that's different still? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think I said that too. It's like I sometimes struggle with how many different interesting videos can I make around just painting.
It's hard. And I have writer's block all the time. Yeah. You?
I mean, in terms of what I'm painting, no, but how to film it. Like part of my job is making a video about it. But, you can only make so many time lapses. You can only do so much interesting B-roll. It's like, it's still the end of the painting is what you're, I guess, looking for. But like how to do that and make it interesting and entertaining and injecting my personality, it's totally like, oh, what am I going to do this time? Like, how am I going to switch it up? But I get so inspired by other YouTubers and creative people that do painting videos. Like people are getting so wacky and crazy. I'm like, whoa, wow, you could do it this way, or like, oh, this is a cool process.
I get inspired by a lot.
That's one of my questions. Too. Like, what do you get inspired by?
Just other people, other creators,
specifically
movies,
that do animation. I mean,
sometimes I'll see. I remember this happened in school. There's this kid Avishai in my class, and shout out Avishai. And he just one time he did this video with like a train. It was just this is so random, but like I was like, holy crap, I can do like you can do something different. Like he was just doing something different and just opened my brain, like unlock something. Yeah. And then I was doing different things. Not that I was like doing anything similar to this train video he did, whatever it was, but it's just like so there's a lot of things unlocking, and I love watching movies just to understand like story more and all that. But
yeah, I think that's something that separates you. I mean, I think there's technical amazing that you're at. You can surgically do the post-production editing, but you're very story driven, even if it's just making some toast and butter. But like, I think you were saying that before. For there to be a story.
That goes into why I don't know if I want to do behind the scenes stuff, because I don't want to be, oh, he's a stop motion animator. Like this is how he does it. It's really cool. Like, no, I want to be like, oh, he's so creative. His stories are really fun, or whatever it is. Like, I'd rather be seen as someone that can like be a writer and can like oversee animation projects because I have the vision for that, than like being hired as an animator for another project that's not my own.
Yeah, so you're like completely out of the realm of being an influencer. You're just literally a filmmaker. And I think that's so unique for like the TikTok platform.
Yeah, and it's sad because a lot of people write me and they say that they'd love to see tutorials and behind the scenes. I've thought of making an animation course, but then I think I kind of like lock myself in as like, oh, he's like an animator. Yeah. He's like the animator.
And you don't want to be a teacher, you want to be...
I like teaching.
Well, sharing your experience, but you don't want to be that like pigeonholed of...
Yeah, it's not, because for me, it's not about the technique. This just happens to be the technique that came about over the last year and a half of me, or since I made that first one in 2018. Just like, this happens to be my style, but for me, I'm working a lot more at the script and making something. I mean, you saw when we were making our thing, like we're like, okay, but if I'm painting you and you're over there. That doesn't make sense. We have to like I like that. That's what excites me and gets me fiery and passionate. Like, how can I make like a really fun, creative story that makes sense to the audience?
And you were speaking hieroglyphs to me at that point. I was just like, you're in charge. I got the costumes. Like, we'll figure it out. But that was exhilarating. And so, like, what is next? Like, you have this POV style. Have you thought of? I mean, because I think a lot of creators tell me, if you think this, that like, even me, that like, okay, this is happening right now, but I don't know how long this is going to last. Like, is this more fickle? Like, should I be thinking of diversifying or switching things up? Do you ever think about that?
Time.
Yeah.
All the time. Social media.
Tell me, brother.
Yeah. It's like a roller coaster. Like 1 month you can do a bunch of ads that were really fun and you can have a crazy viral video. You get a lot of exposure. And then the next 2 months, like nothing. So it just kind of makes you think like, okay, how long does this really last? Is the app going to be this big forever? Can I do this in 10 years from now? Like I'm all the time like looking for ways to, exactly. Like I'm looking for ways to pivot. I want this to be a long lasting career that I can do my whole life because I love this. I can't believe that I'm getting like to make a living off of doing what I love. It's crazy. So I want to make this last and I'm trying to figure out how does that last? Does that last on social media? Maybe for now, maybe in the short term it does. If I get an offer to make my own TV show, like I'll do that for sure. Just because like I think that when you establish yourself in that space, like I want a family and I want to be able to hang out with my kids. Like I can't do that doing this.
You can't be doing 15-hour days, staying up editing all night.
Yeah.
The workflow is a little.
Yeah, I can't stay up till it doesn't make any sense. I'm happy to do now and I really do enjoy it. But if the right opportunity comes across, like I'd probably be stupid to not take it, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you think it will just be offered to you, or do you think you're gonna like dig a little and fight for it, perhaps?
If I have like a show idea that I'm really passionate about, like maybe I'll put like 3 months into a pilot episode and send it around to everyone. I've been really lucky to meet a lot of people in the industry.
I bet.
And I feel like I could send it out and get some eyes on it.
Totally.
But I don't know. I kind of enjoy social media right now. Like,
I love it, man.
Even with the roller coaster up and down, it's really a nice space to be in today.
It is. How does the roller coaster affect you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, we're kind of in different realms, same chapter, or same book, different chapter, but it is kind of bogs me down at least.
Yeah. I try to not let it affect me. I see these people posting like, I post videos and I don't even look at the views.
It's a lie, man.
It's rough. Because views is like how I'm making a living and how I'm also just like feeling like it was worth the time and it's exciting.
And also you're a business person who has to have their eye on the things. And and I mean, the passion drives it. I mean, your passion is literally, you could feel it. I was just vicariously like almost high when you were in the studio the other night, just going crazy. I'm so excited to see the final product.
Yeah, me too.
But it's annoying.
It's like a rough space to be in sometimes.
It is. It's so weird. And I talk about that because I just always am curious of other creators who we've had a bunch on, and I think that's all the same. And it's different. Like that girl Natalia, it's just photos.
Right.
So it's a little different. Like the delivering product, it's still your passion, it's still your little baby, but it's different. Like I'm spending 2 weeks on a painting, then a week editing, and it's like all this intense work, and the world of social media is quick, and I'm in this kind of slow world. And so it's like
YouTube versus like Instagram and TikTok.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just always curious of how people think of that.
Yeah. I can't work unless it's an ad. I can't work 2 weeks on a video. It just doesn't make any sense. Like I've heard people say, like there was this Mr. Beast Joe Rogan podcast.
I just watched it,
and he was saying like one really, really good idea for a video is worth like 50 average ideas for a video.
Yeah.
So maybe you should be working 2 weeks on a video, but also there's always the chance it is really good, but it just flops. And
and does the algorithm reward consistency and quantity versus
mysterious? TikTok wants their
and
algorithm
doesn't
to be
Mr.
mysterious.
Beast sound like he knows? It's like, do you really know, dude?
Well, YouTube is. I feel like YouTube's different. For some reason, I feel like
I know how to do it. I'm like, how do you know? No one knows.
He talks about. I feel like I read. He didn't talk about it on the podcast, but I feel like I read that he like researched. He like hired people to research the algorithm and like computer coders for like a year, and they like understood.
Well,
like,
he had like a group in his friends.
Maybe
Chris, did you watch it or do you listen to it?
No, I haven't yet.
You should.
It's
great.
I'm getting to it.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I've listened to all the other ones, but I haven't gotten to that.
Yeah, and like Colin Samir, do you know them?
Yeah.
He was on it. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening. He's like, I'm mentoring this kid. He's got like 50 million views up this month. I just told him what to do. I'm like, what, dude? Like, come on.
I think so. It might have been his friends, and I might have been misremembering about like hiring these like computer people. But it's like on YouTube, I feel like it's more consistent. I feel like TikTok changes their algorithm every month. Like I feel it's so different.
Yeah.
My experience a year ago is very different from my experience today.
Okay,
and yes, it could be that the audience, people are used to my videos or whatever it is. But like it's a lot more like wild on TikTok now than it was then.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought, interesting.
Well, on the come up, it was like there was growth and it was changing and it was wild. But once I hit a certain point, it was pretty consistent for a couple.
I see.
Quite a while. And recently, it's been like 20 million views, 60,000 views, and
That's
like
insane.
in my mind, those videos are like pretty equal.
Right.
So like even if one of them's a little better, that's pretty crazy.
And there's no rhyme or reason to why they're differentiated.
There's
you
just
think?
There must. I mean, on TikTok, it's easier to get your second million views than your first million. Like there is a difference there. Like when a video gets to 2 million, it's more likely that it's going to get to 6 than a video that's kind of stuck at 100,000 will get to 400,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but like the actual content of the video is not that different. Is your uploading time different? Like those variables.
TikTok says that the upload time doesn't matter.
Oh God.
That's what they say.
Because it matters on YouTube.
Yeah.
To me, at least from what I've seen. I don't know.
They say TikTok says it doesn't. Who knows?
I literally don't.
They keep it mysterious on purpose. There's like it's also not a full meritocracy. There's like a drop of luck mixed in there, like roulette. Yeah.
Which I think it should be.
Slot machine. Yeah. No, of course.
Well, compared to every other thing, like you could literally have 0 followers and go viral like pretty easily. Yeah. It like gives people a chance.
Well, one thing to say about TikTok is that the user base has like I can't even imagine it, but like quintupled since last year, and I think that's why everything has changed so much compared to YouTube, which has been so consistent, and now they have all these new people that they have to account for, so it's always just changing. So I think that just thought of that probably has a big deal to do.
And there's just like more people watching more.
There's like 1 billion active users on TikTok.
Jesus Christ!
I just hit 1 billion recently.
Oh my God!
It's not downloads; it's active users.
Wait, what? 1/8 of the population?
I think so.
That is.
It might be downloads. I'm pretty sure it's active users though.
A B.
Yeah.
I double checked it. It's 1 billion. Yeah.
Oh my.
Active.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
How does 1/8 of the population have a cell phone? I didn't even think that's possible. Right? 1 billion. There's what? 8.5 billion people, I think, on the planet.
TikTok is king right now.
Just off what I've Googled, Instagram is at 1.386 billion. Facebook Messenger 1.3 billion. WeChat 1.242 billion, and then TikTok 1 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy.
Because oh my gosh, yeah, my mind is just going in crazy direction. Because I'm trying to slowly roll out more TikToks, and this kid who's, going to help work for me is going to, be on that. And so, because I feel like I'm almost missing out. This is like me being, okay, I maybe need to pivot more. Like maybe still do YouTube. It's my main thing. It's different, also long form for my paintings and my style videos. But like, okay, I should pivot.
I think about pivoting to YouTube sometimes. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, wow, that just kind of like shook my core. 1 billion.
Yeah. This is like the weird thing about being a creator. Like every day you have to reassess. It's not like you signed a year contract at a job and you get to reassess, in those last few months of the year. Like every week I'm reassessing.
I know.
How do I do this?
And it kind of slowly kills me. It's like so amazing. And I'm so happy. And like, it's been my pipe dream for like 5 years. We could probably agree on that. But like, it really like making my own schedule. It's like, it's very challenging for me. And I'm like younger than you, and like you have a wife. You seem like very adult. Well, you're solid. I mean, okay, yeah, take it how you will. I don't mean to again speak for you, but not that I'm not mature also, but like I'm still like figuring out my life and who I am, and it's like I sometimes really desire. Chris and I talk about this all the time because we're in similar boats. Because Chris doesn't have like a 9 to 5. We're constantly every week is different. What gigs are you going to get? Blah blah blah. So it's like I sometimes desire like seeing my 2 roommates, they just get up, work 9 to 5, 6 o'clock, they're done. Don't have to worry about anything. It's like, oh wow, that sounds kind of nice sometimes.
Yeah, I hear that.
But at the same time, I would never.
Sound nice to me.
I would never change it. But when I'm in the weeds, it's like okay, I would love to like, because I could eat. I wake up and go to bed thinking about what to do, the film, the next video, contacting, emails. Always, there's never. It's almost like you're never not working, but if you love it, you're really not working a day in your life. I'm sorry, I'm ranting now.
keep going.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to share the vibes.
Yes. I'm in the same. I feel like we're in a similar place.
Yeah.
It's a hard space to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when like we talked about that high and low time, and in the low time, kind of like peeking around like, what else is there? But then.
Right.
That's one thing too. I feel like the highs are so high, but the lows are really really tough.
Crazy,
right?
But as a normal job, it's just very like level.
Yeah, I love the visuals there.
Yeah.
And like, would you rather ride the middle or be able to experience amazing things and treacherous things? It's like, okay, pick your poison.
Yeah.
I feel like we have our own brands in a way. Like I don't know if you'd call it that yet.
No, for sure. Like
we're a brand. Like I'm 24 Frames of Ginger.
Yep.
I make these videos online.
But you're really 12.
Them. Don't tell anyone. Well, to the animators, I could say I'm 24 on 2s. So it's like you do 2 pictures every time.
Okay, wait. So I love. Sorry to interrupt you.
Please.
I just interrupted you brutally, but I heard amazing things on the Spider-Man movie where they did really interesting things with 2s and the frames. Did you hear about that? The
Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were having like wet dreams about that movie.
It's very cool visually, but also what I loved about it is that the animation style was like very story based. So if a character, so if a character was on 2s, he was more like laggy, but that was like, that made sense with his character or the emotions he was going through or whatever it was. And when he was like more flowy and moving things and going quicker than he was on 1s. I don't know the exact, I don't know.
No, I think that's exactly, you said what I wanted to say. And I think, maybe not being an animator savvy, the general population doesn't know that technically, but you can kind of innately feel that and see it.
It's like in The Godfather that every single character's lighting was based on their like emotional state.
Interesting. I didn't even know that.
So like Michael Corleone, like light down the middle.
Right, the raccoon
half.
Yeah.
No, that's
okay.
That's like the dad. So he's like, you don't see in his eyes, so you don't really know what he's thinking. Like the main character, like Al Pacino, right? He's got like half his face, dark, half his face light, because he's like, do I want to join the family business? Do I want to be like good outside of it? And like one of the brothers, I think Sonny, he's like fully lit because like he's always saying what's on his mind. Like that is like where that's so beautiful to me that like the lighting goes with the character. So in Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, like the animation goes with the character or the emotion or whatever it is. And that's just, I love that stuff.
And that's 360 like storytelling, right? Down to like the core of everything you can control.
I love watching stuff like that. Like I love learning about stuff like that and all that. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can do that really with social media or if it's worth the effort because it's a lot of people that might not. I should be doing that because it's just something I love. But it's 15 seconds. You're spending a week on it. Like I don't know.
You do enough. I think it's like that would almost be like you were saying before. It would be too. Not highbrow for audiences, but like you want it simple, straightforward.
But sometimes it's nice when you don't even realize that, and then like you get older and someone points it out, and you're like, oh, another level of it. I love that.
I'm sure you'll find it. But like do you experiment? Like I want to talk about more of your content because we've been going a little ranting.
Sure thing.
Maybe an emotional little.
Gotta look at your page.
Tween. We've kind of covered everything. This is more like I want
the back page.
Unfortunately, not.
All right.
But like we talked so much. Like I knew what I wanted to talk about with you. But what I was saying is like. You have so many different styles. I'm trying to think of ones like your beard one. That one went super viral, right? Yeah. I think I remember seeing that before even Ruben introduced you because I had totally seen some of your videos just through the algorithm. But like that one's like kind of a unique one. That's like not where you're being POV.
Yeah.
You do obviously the zooming ones. I love those because it's like, you have as a viewer are traveling through. But like, how do you experiment? Like, is every video an experiment? Like, was this experience with us, you said kind of complex, but it's mediumly familiar?
Yeah, it was stuff that I'd already done for this one. But I don't think there was anything in this one that I hadn't done before that was like an experiment. But
can you name one that's new that you say is like, oh, this is the most unique one I've done recently, maybe in the past couple months, or something I was playing for a while?
The beard one, I grew a beard out. So
that's
for a while.
Yeah, so in terms of time,
that was an experiment. That was different. Like I hadn't showed my face really in my videos. I had to like shave my beard, and it was pretty complicated to do. But yeah,
I love it.
It's fun. I read somewhere that every fifth video you should experiment just to like throw different things out there. Once in a while I'll throw in like a video effects type thing instead of a stop motion, but
You did that cool collaboration with that guy who did the claymation off the cliff, and he whirled around.
Frantic Frames.
And then I saw the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Love that.
That was really fun.
Really cool.
We were in Colorado for our honeymoon, and I just love work, so I ditched my wife and met up with Ben, Frantic Frames, and we went into the mountains, and like we just like what we did last night. We were in his studio. We like talked it out. We're like, what do we do? Okay, a script. Make it. I'm gonna throw you, and then we come up with this whole thing, and then we filmed it, and it was great. Did all the post and put it up there.
Yeah, and that was just me getting giddy seeing the process.
What has been your favorite video you've made so far?
Dun, dun, dun.
That's a hard question.
Besides ours.
I feel like I'm always showing people the coffee video where I'm making coffee in the morning for my wife. That's like the one that's gone the most viral for me.
Really?
That might be the reason why I show people and why I call it my most favorite.
Is it your favorite because it's the best one?
I'm not sure.
Numbers?
I don't know. I really do like it. And I feel like it's a good like North Star for what I like to do because there's storytelling there and there's really interesting like and fun visuals stuff there. I don't know. It's a tough question, but I think that's the one that I'd say for now if I had to pick one.
Can we look at that one, Chris? Oh, there we are.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. The loops kill me.
Yeah, gotta loop it.
The loops are hacks to get more views also.
You have if it runs the loops on purpose, that's what TikTok wants. Like that's what the app is. It's a loop
then you
app.
forget, you're like, oh, I've already seen this. It's like the third time you watch it, you're like, oh, this is the same part.
Sometimes people don't even realize like it's gone the whole way through.
Zach King, I remember seeing Zach King's first, and I was like, wow, this is the first one.
Well, he's so cool. He sometimes will loop it like 3 times, and on third time something will be different.
I know.
That's amazing.
And
he's got the fans that will stay for that. And he's like established, like maybe there's something different the third time around. Keep watching.
Some Easter eggs.
And you don't know how long the video is on TikTok. If it's under a minute.
You can't do
so like
scroll.
he can make it 59 seconds and you just like can keep watching.
It's amazing. Did you ever have Vine? I'm just trying to think back.
I was in rabbinical school during Vine.
Okay. Wow, that's a crazy word. Rabbinical for rabbi.
I'm just saying like I didn't have social media really then. Yeah. At that point in my life, I was just like, I deleted my Facebook, deleted my Instagram.
And animation stop motion wasn't even inkling.
When I was younger, I made like fun videos with my friends in high school. That was like the extent of my filmmaking career.
So you always had a storytelling aspect of your life.
We made like little videos with like, I was a superhero bread man or something. And the mayor calls me because he needs me to save someone from robbing the safe or something.
Save the princess.
I don't know, like someone that had a relationship with a toy, Michael Jordan toy, like weird, stupid little high school stories. And like, but it was always stories. It was fun. When I was a kid, I think the first movie I ever made was like 8th grade. I bought a video camera for my bar mitzvah, and I forgot if it was like someone was, I don't know, Joey the Robber. I don't know why I remember, but that's what it was called. We made one of our friends like a robber, and I used my old like video camera from like 2003 and filmed a video. That was the first movie I made.
That's awesome.
But I never saw it as something that it would be. It was always just for fun on the side, like, oh, let's make a movie. Like me and all my friends from high school all loved making movies together. But none of us ever really thought that's what any of us would do.
Well, I think you got lucky in like a very like grateful sense. Like you found something,
I did,
stuck with it, made it your own, put in the work. Like that's awesome.
I really, really, really wanted to find something that I loved.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like arguably the golden ticket of reality, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
What in life gives you meaning?
Yeah.
But it's awesome, dude.
I feel very, 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 very lucky.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And who knows what the future holds? I mean, again, this world is like
to see.
It is. It's kind of scary, also. No, but I mean, again, if you have the passion, not to sound like cliche, but like most of the people.
Some people are gonna think this is so annoying.
Well, I have to say it. Also, I don't care what people think.
I agree with it.
I think it's like if you have the passion, which is it's palpable, and everyone who's been on the podcast are like, I'm huge fans of it. It's obvious that they like, even if they weren't getting paid, you know, they'd still be doing it, and they have spent years developing it, and all they do is think about it. Like, it's almost hard to not become successful. Yes, there's a little luck here. Yes, there's a little right timing there, but like, it's gonna drive it. And whatever, that's what I say to people. Not that I'm some master painting, but they're like, how do I get better at drawing? I'm like, you just gotta do it all the time, dude. Like,
I say the same thing to people.
There's no other way.
People are like, wow, how do you do that? Have you posted?
Yeah.
I used to give free advice to people that I give free advice to my friends now, but I don't give free advice anymore to people that I don't know because I gave so much free advice to people that I didn't know, like friends of friends and all that stuff. No one ever listened to the advice, and I know how I can help you. Kind of like the Mr. Beast thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're a musician, just post, like, do things that you enjoy. Don't try to be virally and TikTok-y. Do stuff that you like. If you're actually talented, the algorithm will find you an audience.
And you'll only get better and understand it more to post. I tell kids, I was like, make 50 videos in 1 year. That's not even that much. And you'll be shocked by your success and perhaps like what it can bring you.
Yeah.
Everyone is so surprised by that answer that no one wants to hear it, and that's the only answer that there is. If you do things for long enough, it's gonna go well.
I mean, and Chris have literally said this like 4 different times in this podcast, but it's true. And so maybe us just drilling it will help one person.
Yeah, I spoke to this guy, and I gave him like an hour and a half worth of advice, and I was like, "Get back to me after 10 videos." And I'll look at all of them, we'll reassess them, and I'll help you moving forward. Didn't even post one video.
Hurts my soul.
Yeah. Like, he's talented. He could do it.
Yeah.
Just didn't even post 10.
I mean, it's amazing how approachable this world is of social media.
This is the time to kind of, I mean, who knows what the future holds, but right now we're dwindling down from the crazy time.
That's what I think.
TikTok. Yeah.
Which is scary.
I started TikTok, I think the week that Bella Porch went viral.
Okay,
remember that video?
Yeah, of course.
I was
to the beat. I mean, what a weird world we live in.
I was like, what is this? This is the time to be here. This is wild. Like 50 million followers or something, like from one video.
Insane, dude.
Something crazy like that. Yeah. So, but who knows? I think also Instagram is kind of picking up again too. I've found success on Instagram recently as well.
Your reels are doing crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not as crazy as TikTok.
But it's
more consistent though, which is nice.
That's what I mean.
It's pretty consistent on Instagram for me. Like I feel like I have an audience there that they see most of my videos. I feel like I have more of a relationship.
And I think that's exactly right. It's a way to communicate. It also feels more of like a homepage website, whereas TikTok is really just to blast the content. Yeah. It's like the spotlight. Instagram's kind of this home. You can kind of scroll. You can message. You can see links a little better. There's stories like for collaborations.
Yeah. It is a bit cluttered, but like maybe there's too much on Instagram and too little on TikTok.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Maybe we should make our app in between.
Yeah. Tiktogram.
Magic muffin machine. Yeah, that's amazing. That's all I got. I mean, we've been doing what, an hour and a half almost?
No, like an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, I try to ask people like their future and goals. Sometimes people don't know or they don't want to do, but I'm always fascinated, or future projects. Anything you didn't say that you wanted to
Not really. I don't really have, this is one of the things I'm working on. I actually have a weekly call with a good friend of mine because we both are in a similar boat where we're hardworking and we know how to make the right decisions when we know what we want to do, but we don't really have clear visions right now for what that is. Like, I know that I love animation and I love storytelling and I want to do something in this space and I want to create a long-lasting career for myself. And I want to make really cool shit, but I don't know what that looks like in 5 years. I have no clue. So I'm just staying in social media, just doing what I know until, and I'm always reassessing like we spoke about. And
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
And that's,
I kind of see like 2 paths, but maybe there's one that won't even end up, that's not on that list. That
you won't know. You don't even know now.
One of them is like lean harder into social media, build a team around me, 24 frames of ginger, and like be able to take more ads and outsource more stuff and work more on storytelling and filming and outsource like some of the stuff that I feel like other people can do.
Right.
And then that's one path, like lean hard into 24 frames of ginger. And the other path is like look for TV, maybe like make a pilot for a TV show. I don't know, maybe. And there's probably a third thing that's going to end up happening.
I think those are 2 very rational ways, because we were kind of talking about you scaling up 24 frames, but it's hard. We were need
talking
more
about
views.
It, and then I got in front of the computer and I started editing, and I was like, this is crazy. I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
There's parts of it that I can train people to do, but some of it's just me, and it's so natural to me at this point. Like I feel like I have to do this specific part of it.
And it's just one fluid machine, to add another cog, it almost would slow down the process.
Yeah,
like you're so streamlined,
right?
That I don't know where that could.
A week for a video, if it's just my own video, is not so bad. I can make 52 in a year, right? Like if I'm working really hard and I'm really intense and passionate and it's my full-time thing, like I could do 2 a week, so I could do 100 a year. I don't know. We'll see. It's a lot of videos, 100, right? So
Would that be something that interests you? Because I'm in the
I don't know.
mode of kind of scaling up. Like I'm hiring a videographer and editor. I'm trying to do more content, including this podcast, and like have a lot of different stuff, not just my painting. Like, would you ever have that, like a bigger umbrella of like
I've thought about doing
24 frames?
Yeah, that's one of the paths.
Like a studio.
Yeah, that's that first path I spoke about, like including hiring a team to do more ads, let's say, which I don't want to just make my page just ads. I hate that when I go to like a talented person and every single video is an ad. Like, no, I want to see like just stuff that you did for you.
Yeah.
I get it. Some people have families and like they need to make cash grabs, but I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to like make this like sustainable. So in that path, I would like to add to do like maybe an animation course or maybe like teaching or maybe I don't know.
I have one burning question.
Anything.
Get us
Do
off
you have
NFTs.
a problem because this podcast is being recorded in 30 frames a second?
Can we switch it? Is it too late to switch it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great question. And what do you think about that?
I approve. It's okay.
Okay, thank you.
What I love about 12 frames a second is like, you have to be so meticulous with where things are on screen to make it feel seamless and smooth and flowing. And it's just like a challenge. Like it's actually harder to animate on more frames per second.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And when
it's
you
like jittery and stuff like that.
And when, I mean, just seeing you, even that paintbrush movement,
right.
like it was just so beautiful and like delicate.
It comes pretty naturally to me now.
Yeah.
like
but if you had to do a double, let's just double the amount of work. And double the amount of error, perhaps.
I'd have a hard time doing 24 or 30 frames. I'd have a harder time doing 30 frames a second. For sure.
I mean, that's so funny that you asked that, Chris. That's so
there's
true.
like there's people in animation.
I've been thinking about it the whole time.
You're seeing like 30 on the screen. You're like,
Yeah, it's literally bottom left right here.
Well, because the cinematic standard is 24, so all my like painting videos are 24. But Chris, said let's try 30 for the podcast, so it's a little more not jittery. You have like those 6 more frames, and it looks great. And I think it's great. And like a lot of YouTubers, like Mr. Beast, all 30 frames. But yeah, that's interesting.
Copy Mr. Beast, whatever you do.
But is it? Can I copy him with doing traditional oil painting? Like,
kidding. I painted this picture with 3 of my friends, and the winner gets my studio.
Yeah, exactly. And then then the video is not about the actual painting; it's about some dumb gimmicky thing. But God bless him.
The thing that I love about it is like you're 10 seconds in, you don't even realize it, but you're like in the story already.
Sucked in. He's so good at it, man. Yeah. I watch most of the videos.
I like looking at the timeline and being like, wow, that was like 50 seconds.
Yeah, and he talks about that. He's like, you have to hook it.
Yeah.
Like, we have 30 seconds. This bounty hunter's going to kill me and we're in the Siberian forest.
Yeah. Yeah, like I like doing that, seeing how long things are. And it's really amazing to see. And you learn a lot from it too. Like for me, I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm like, people have their thumb on the screen ready to go away. Like you have to catch them right away. And I fail a lot and sometimes I'm successful, but I try to plan as best as I can. Like we were talking about our video. We were thinking, should we start on the drawer and grab up the paintbrush? No, maybe like it's more clear what you're seeing and it's more engaging and it's more like, I wonder what this is going to be if I see you and the spinning thing and all that. Like,
totally.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I have to catch people's attention. I think in 2 to 5 seconds is what they say. I think it's less.
I think it's got to be like 2.
I think it's less if you're not verified and I'm not. And if you're verified, you have a few extra seconds to grab people's attention because they're like, oh, they're verified. Let's see what they have to say.
I think that's totally true.
Kind of like,
there's a lot of things I do like that. Like I'll subconsciously look at the likes and like if you could kind of tell a lot of my videos or my For You page is like stupid skits or dumb videos. And you could tell if it's going to be really funny if it has 300,000 likes. Yeah. Like it's some girl at a party filming someone like eat really shit into a fridge.
Yeah.
So you could subconsciously know immediately, okay, I'm going to wait this out. I'm going to wait this 30 seconds out.
Yes, exactly. Like, oh, there's a million likes. There must be something. Yeah. Sometimes there's not. And I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, who is watching this?
Then it's like, how does it get discovered though? Because someone has to watch that in the first place and like it.
I don't know. It's really good. Really good algorithm. No, I don't blame the algorithm if a video doesn't do well. I try not to. It might have sounded like I did, but I try to learn from it.
Yeah. And I think you're saying you don't want to get lost in the sauce of it because and when I do, it just makes me feel worse. Yeah. Like I spend 3 hours literally coming up with 3 different thumbnails. And I'm like, oh, this is the one. Yeah. And then right before I'm uploaded, wait, no, I should change it. And then the video flops and you're like, fuck, I should have done the other one. So it's like.
I feel like that's another element to it though, that thumbnail. For me, I'm not really. I choose a thumbnail, but it doesn't.
Dude, the thumbnail title is like everything,
right? Because you have to get someone to click it.
Steven Spielberg himself, like Gandhi himself can make the most amazing cinematic, entertaining video, but if you don't have,
Gandhi's a filmmaker.
I just try to pull someone I said Steven Spielberg better, Christopher Nolan, anyone.
Yeah.
If the
no one's
title of
it.
them, then who cares? Who cares?
That's tough.
And that's what Mr. Beast is great at also.
So have you learned over time how to make better thumbnails?
You think I have, but it's so up and down, man. Like some videos,
you see click-through rate.
Yes.
Well, everyone that watches the video is clicking it.
Right, exactly. Right. But then it's like, okay, if they click, maybe they're only watching for 2 minutes, and then I have an ad in, and then they click off, and so, okay, should I put my ads further? But it's like, you don't really know.
Yeah.
And it stinks.
That's rough.
It is kind of annoying.
This goes into the rough life that we have. Such a rough life being our own boss, doing art for a living.
I always have to say, like, it's hard to complain,
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I'm being a whiny, annoying person right now, but
I know, right?
I'm just
No, me too.
Yeah.
It's very bittersweet. Very, very, very sweet. A little bitter, but
yeah. But it's not all butterflies and roses.
Exactly.
It's like my friends are like, you just work for yourself, you paint all day. I'm like, bruh, no, that is not even half of it. I'm like stressing out, trying to scrape by with this whatever.
People are like, wow, you don't work for a 9-to-5 job. You're like, yeah, I work 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's draining, and I need a break, but I need to make a video.
Exactly. Yeah. So to each his own. Grain of salt with everything I say, for sure. Broken record.
I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm so happy that this is what I get to do. Like, I'm so appreciative of TikTok that happened for me.
I think so many people.
I don't know what else I'd be doing.
It's given such an amazing platform for so many just normal people, but also talented people. Like this could live on Instagram, but it's just a new world. And think of like animation exists, but your specific style that you've now made hundreds of videos, like that is like a new blossoming species of content, so to speak, if you get my analogy. Like that would have never happened if TikTok wasn't around. Like it's for the world now. Yeah. And that will inspire other people.
I did what I did because of TikTok.
It's pretty
I
awesome.
saw that one video that I said got like a little more views, and I saw more excitement in the comments. I was like, let me experiment with this more. Like I listened to the audience and the app telling me kind of like what speaks.
And now it's your design language almost.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's pretty incredible.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So that's pretty profound. Us philosophers.
Yes.
Complaining and philosophy all in one.
Yeah.
We're getting it all with this SLEWNIVERSE podcast and 24 frames here. Please, everyone, go check out 24 Frames Ginger. Obviously, Jonathan, Deutsch. You John more than Jonathan?
Either one. You can call me John.
Yeah. But please come back anytime to the studio if you're ever in New York. And maybe you'll even move here and we could do more cool stuff.
I would love to.
Who knows?
Yeah. Thanks again.
Yeah. And everyone, check out the vlog. Hopefully, we'll be out the day after this podcast comes out. Sort of behind the scenes of our awesome collab, which is just, I think, hilarious and amazing. So I think that will be really interesting to just give more context to this whole conversation.
Yeah. You were a trooper with that.
Hey, man, I'm built for that shit. I'm saying.
You were staying
I was
still
ready
for hours.
Dude, because it's funny because I was like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be like a 5-6 hour thing. And then you came in and you were like, yeah, we could be here all night. I'm like, okay. It kind of affirmed. I was like, all right, I'm ready to go.
It goes to the mystery. You don't know how long it takes. And now I've let it out there, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks again.
Appreciate it.